Greetings from our channel again. DianaRoss, one of the greatest musical icons of the 20th century, will be the subject of our discussion today. Over the course of more than 50 years, she not only produced innumerable timeless hits but also left an enduring legacy, making her the queen of music. But not everyone is aware of the hardships and difficulties that lay behind the stage's brilliant lights, behind the charming voice and smiles. Has DianaRoss, after all, really led the ideal life we so frequently envision? Or have there been secrets she has concealed throughout the years? Her true self has been molded by her family's tribulations, personal hardships, and mysterious relationships. Let's discover those secrets and follow DianaRoss's turbulent journey from a young Detroit girl to a legendary figure in the music industry. What, then, made DianaRoss so powerful and alluring? Let's explore this intriguing and tragic tale in more detail. Born in Detroit, Michigan, on March 26, 1944, DianaRoss came from a modest but devoted family. Diana, the second of 6 children, had to deal with the normal difficulties of a big family in a big city. Despite their lack of wealth, her parents, Ernestine and Fred Ross Sr., always gave their kids a loving and optimistic environment. The error on the birth certificate changed her name to Diana, even though her mother Ernestine had intended to give her the name Diane. This moniker followed her throughout her public life. But she was always Diane to her friends and family in Detroit. Diana experienced a number of hardships and obstacles during her early years in addition to dreams and happiness. Her mother was admitted to the hospital with tuberculosis when she was just 7 years old. Diana's parents made the decision to temporarily place the kids in the care of their maternal grandparents in Alabama in order to protect Diana and her siblings. Young Diana was deeply affected by this brief separation because it was the first time she had to deal with missing her family and being concerned about her mother's well-being. She had to adjust to living in a new setting and felt anxious for her mother's welfare, thus it was an emotional time. The Ross family got back together and moved back to Detroit after her mother's recovery. Things did not become any easier even if their lives were no longer separated. Diana had to deal with the harsh realities of living in the impoverished Brewster Douglas housing projects when she was a teenager. She started to comprehend the difficulties of a life of material struggle there, where her family lived in poor circumstances. But Diana's passion for music began to take shape during this period. She wanted to be a fashion designer while she was a student at Cass Technical High School, but destiny led her to pursue a career in music instead. Diana took design and tailoring studies because she loved fashion, but music was what really captured her attention. She soon discovered her innate singing ability while performing with a local girl group. For Diana, music served as an escape from everyday hardships and a hope for a better future, when other girls could have viewed it as only a pastime. Early career DianaRoss started singing at the age of 15 in the late 1950s. She became a member of the Primettes, a girl group that was the female equivalent of the Primes, a male group whose member, Paul Williams, went on to co-found the Temptations. DianaRoss was one of the Primettes, along with Betty McGlown, Mary Wilson, and Florence Ballard. The trio began with modest performances before progressively showcasing their talent in regional music competitions, such as one in Windsor, Ontario, where they won over both music producers and the public. But the pivotal encounter with DianaRoss's close neighbor Smokey Robinson was what gave the group a greater chance. Smokey, a prominent member of Motown and a well-known musician with the Miracles, gave the group the opportunity to meet with Berry Gordy, the creator of Motown. Berry Gordy, however, suggested that they complete their schooling before formally pursuing a career in professional music after seeing their performance. DianaRoss persisted, as did the other members. In addition to assisting other projects by providing background singing and clapping throughout other recording sessions, they kept going to Motown's recording studios. Berry Gordy was impressed by the group's tenacity, and by January 1961, they had formally signed a deal with Motown and taken on the name The Supremes. At first, the Supremes did not immediately succeed. They failed to find a success between 1961 and 1963 and were even derisively called the No Success Supremes. Nevertheless, DianaRoss and her colleagues were not deterred by their early setbacks. When Berry Gordy chose to combine them with the gifted production trio Holland Dozier Holland, who would go on to write the group's first singles, their tenacity and spirit of never giving up finally opened up a new opportunity. When the song Where Did Our Love Go was released in 1964, it was an unexpected success. A string of later singles, including Baby Love, Stop, In the Name of Love, Come See About Me, and You Can't Hurry Love, were made possible by this, the Supremes' first single to peak at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The Supremes achieved a record for a female group at the time when they had 12 #1 hits between 1964 and 1969. The Supremes' image, in addition to DianaRoss' incredible singing, was what set them apart. Sophisticated, graceful, and fashionable. Motown became a cultural icon of the 1960s thanks to its distinctive fashion sense and music. As the first black women to break down racial barriers on television and worldwide platforms, they were not only the most popular female group of their day but also a symbol of social progress. But as a result of their overwhelming success, conflicts started to arise inside the group. Diana Ross's rise to prominence eventually made her the focal point of the Supremes, which caused tensions with other members, especially Florence Ballard. In 1967, Florence finally departed the group, and Cindy Birdsong took her place. The Supremes were renamed DianaRoss and the Supremes at that time, signifying a significant turning point in Diana's career as she started getting ready for her independent endeavors. Diana Ross formally departed the Supremes in 1970 and started a solo career that would bring her equal, if not greater, popularity than her time with the group. Berry Gordy had long planned Diana's departure from the group. Success in solo career. After Diana Ross left the Supremes in 1970, she faced pressure and great expectations as she started a new phase of her musical career. But she soon demonstrated that she could succeed on her own with Motown's help and her talent, becoming not only a well-known solo artist but also one of the biggest names in international music. In May 1970, Diana Ross released her debut solo album, DianaRoss. With this album, she made a big change from being a group singer to a solo performer. Her album's single, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, shot to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and earned her a Grammy nomination. This was the ideal beginning, establishing Diana Ross as a solo performer on the international music scene. Diana immediately tried her hand at acting after finding fame in music. She played the lead role in the 1972 historical film Lady Sings the Blues, which told the story of the renowned jazz musician Billie Holiday. Despite early skepticism about her acting prowess, Diana's emotionally driven and genuine performance astounded critics, garnering her a Golden Globe Award nomination and an Academy Award nod for Best Actress. In addition, the soundtrack to Lady Sings the Blues became a best-selling record, coming in at the top of the Billboard 200 chart. During the 1970s, Diana Ross's career flourished. Major singles came from albums like Touch Me in the Morning, 1973, Surrender, 1971, and Everything is Everything, 1970. Her status as one of the greatest solo musicians of the era was further solidified when the song Touch Me in the Morning peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Diana Ross took on a new challenge in 1975 when she starred in the movie Mahogany, in which she played the lead role and contributed to the music. Do You Know Where You're Going To?, the title song from Mahogany, became another hit for Diana and peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1976. Despite not being a major commercial success, the movie once again featured Diana Ross's music. In 1976, Diana Ross released her album Diana Ross, which included notable songs including Love Hangover. Her transition to the popular disco sound, which features upbeat sounds and a strong, alluring performance style, was signaled with this song. She became a prominent personality in the disco music era due to the success of Love Hangover. The publication of the album Diana in 1980 was another significant turning point in Diana Ross' career. With the production of two significant successes, Upside Down and I'm Coming Out, it turned into one of her most successful albums. I'm Coming Out became an anthem for the LGBTQ+ community, signifying freedom and self-expression, while Upside Down swiftly shot to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and other charts across the world. In addition to solidifying Diana Ross's place in the disco music industry, the Diana album helped her reach a younger audience and revitalize her reputation. Her solo career also achieved new heights during this time, with a plethora of accolades and noteworthy accomplishments. Diana Ross not only dominated the American music industry but also had great success abroad. With hits like You Are Everything and My Mistake Was to Love You, the 1973 album Diana and Marvin, which featured a collaboration with Marvin Gaye, became a worldwide hit. One of the biggest contracts of its era, Diana Ross's $20 million recording deal with RCA Records was inked in 1981. With singles like the title tune and Mirror Mirror, her debut album under RCA, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, was a huge hit. By working with Michael Jackson on the 1982 smash song The Muscles, which was nominated for a Grammy, Diana Ross further showcased her versatility. In addition, she pursued her acting career, appearing in movies such as The Wiz, 1978, and on a number of TV specials, including ones with Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. Diana Ross's career was praised not only for its financial success but also for her enormous contribution to music, which was acknowledged by Billboard, which crowned her Female Entertainer of the Century. Diana Ross received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012. She continues to win honors at other ceremonies, such as the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016 and the Kennedy Center Honors in 2007. Personal life. In addition to being a well-known musician, DianaRoss is a woman with a vibrant personal life and unusual connections. Her life has been about more than simply music and fame. It has also been about love, family, and overcoming personal obstacles to uphold her reputation. DianaRoss had a love relationship with Berry Gordy, the founder and head of Motown Records, in the 1960s, when she was just beginning her career with the Supremes, who contributed significantly to her and the Supremes' success. They had a long-lasting relationship that had a big influence on Diana's life. In addition to being entwined with her career, Diana's first daughter, Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein, was born in August 1971 as a result of their romance. Diana chose to have Robert Ellis Silberstein raise Rhonda despite the fact that she was Berry Gordy's daughter, whom she wed in January 1971, a few months prior to the birth of Rhonda. Rhonda referred to Berry Gordy as Uncle BB during her early years because she did not know he was her biological father. Diana didn't tell Rhonda the truth about her biological father until she turned 13. Between 1971 until 1977, Diana married Robert Ellis Silberstein, with whom she had two additional daughters. Chudney Lane Silberstein was born in 1975, and Tracy Joy Silberstein was born in 1972. Tracy Joy went on to become the well-known actress Tracy Ellis Ross. Robert was Diana's manager during their marriage, guiding her through her solo music career. But in 1977, they divorced, ending their marriage. DianaRoss first met affluent Norwegian businessman Arne Næss Jr. in 1985. They fell deeply in love with one another quite quickly. Diana became the stepmother of Arne's three children from a previous marriage, Katinka, Christopher, and Leona Næss, who would later become a well-known singer. The two were married in a lavish ceremony in 1986. Together, Diana and Arne have two sons, Evan Olive Næss and Ross Arne Næss, who was born in 1987. Born in 1988. Diana said one of the best periods of her life was when she married Arne Næss. She once declared that Arne was her true love and that they had a ton of amazing memories together. Their marriage did not, however, endure indefinitely. Following reports that Arne had fathered a child with a different woman in Norway, Diana and Arne were divorced in 2000. Diana always thought of Arne's three children from his previous marriage as her own, and they remained close even after the divorce. Tragically, Arne Næss died in a South African mountain climbing accident in 2004. Diana was devastated by Arne's passing, even though they had been divorced for 4 years. She sang Arne's favorite song during his memorial service as a sign of respect when she was at his funeral. DianaRoss always tried to strike a balance between being a mother and her work. Even though she was one of the most well-known celebrities in the world, she always prioritized her family and tried to be there for her kids at all of their important life events. Diana raised her 5 children from 2 marriages with love and tenderness. Diana's most well-known daughter, Tracy Ellis Ross, has said that her mother was an inspiration for perseverance and hard work. Diana always made sure not to miss significant family occasions, especially with her hectic schedule. Tracy added that Diana consistently fostered a loving home atmosphere where she and her siblings could grow up in harmony and affection. Diana never allowed her kids to feel abandoned, despite the fact that she was frequently preoccupied with her work. She rarely went on tour for longer than a week at a time in order to spend more time with her kids. Diana made sure she could still spend time with her family by recording and working in the evenings after her kids had gone to bed. Being a mother was Diana's greatest source of inspiration and joy in life, in addition to being a responsibility. The unique friendship DianaRoss had with Michael Jackson stands out as one of her most significant personal partnerships. The two first crossed paths at Motown when Michael was a young boy singing with his brothers as the Jackson 5. In the early years of Michael's career, Diana was an important mentor and advisor. As their connection deepened throughout the years, Michael continued to view Diana as the woman he loved and revered the most. Numerous speculations circulated that Michael Jackson harbored romantic affections for Diana, which he revealed in a number of songs and private statements. But Michael's feelings for Diana always seemed to stay at the adoration level, instead of passionate love. In response, Diana cherished Michael and always thought of him as a member of her family. It was discovered after Michael's death in 2009 that he had specified in his will that DianaRoss should be the one to raise his children in the event that his mother was unable to. This demonstrated Michael's intense love and trust for Diana, strengthening their unique bond. Individual difficulties and problems. Even though DianaRoss is a well-known and very famous music icon, she has had difficulties in her personal life. She has had to get through many challenging times in her life, including dealing with the demands of celebrity, relationship problems, and mental health concerns. DianaRoss's struggle with alcoholism was one of the most significant obstacles in her personal life. She was arrested for driving while intoxicated at the end of 2002. She was discovered driving on the wrong side of the road in Tucson, Arizona, and was unable to keep her balance or recite the alphabet. She received a 48-hour jail term and a year of unsupervised probation because her blood alcohol content was twice the legal limit. Diana went through a challenging time in her life after this incident, which drew public scrutiny. She did, however, willingly check herself into a rehabilitation facility to deal with her alcoholism following her incarceration. Diana was given the opportunity to consider her health and well-being this time. Her mental health concerns demonstrated that celebrity does not protect one from personal problems, despite the fact that the spotlight of fame frequently obscures a star's life. Additionally, the incident encouraged allegations that Diana's decades-long profession was causing her ongoing stress. Diana had to get through these difficult years on her own, dealing with the emotional strains of being a single mother and juggling job and family obligations, as well as the pressure to always be at the top. DianaRoss suffered yet another heartbreaking loss in 2004 when her once love, Arne Naess Jr., perished in a South African mountain climbing accident. Despite their 2000 divorce, Diana was deeply hurt by Arne's untimely death. She paid respect to her ex-lover by singing his favorite hymn during the memorial service at Arne's funeral in Norway. Diana revealed that her life became quite lonely after Arne passed away, particularly because she was left to raise her kids alone. She acknowledged that despite having a famous career, she was forced to shoulder all of the obligations and difficulties alone during those years because no one else was there to share them with. In her memoir, Secrets of a Sparrow, Diana acknowledged that the passing of her mother and brother, among other loved ones, left her with deep holes in her life, reflecting this sense of loneliness and the anguish of losing loved ones. Diana was devastated when her mother passed away in 1984, only 2 years after receiving a cancer diagnosis. She regretted not being able to spend more time with her mother before to her death, but she had attempted to strike a balance between job and family care. This is still one of Diana's biggest regrets and illustrates the ongoing conflict she had between her family and her job. Her mother's passing wasn't the only thing. Diana also had to deal with her brother Arthur T. Boy Ross's untimely death in 1996. They were discovered tied up and smothered with plastic bags after Arthur and his wife, Patricia, were brutally killed at their Detroit home. Diana was devastated and the nation was outraged by this terrible tragedy. She had intense grief after losing a loved one in such a terrible way, which made her personal life even more difficult. DianaRoss had to deal with a lot of strain from her career in addition to these personal tragedies. She had to continuously uphold her reputation and endure public scrutiny as one of the most well-known celebrities in the world. Diana previously talked about how her demanding work schedule, lack of sleep, and constant performances caused her to feel a great lot of strain. She experienced periods of eating disorders when her body was unable to handle food, which led to her losing a lot of weight. At several points in her life, the strains of her career and the stress of preserving her notoriety had a negative impact on her mental health. Nevertheless, Diana overcame these obstacles because of her tenacity and resolve. She was stronger than ever when she took the stage after finishing her treatment. Following her personal hardships, Diana showed signs of a career comeback by singing and putting out new music. Additionally, she made more time for her family and herself, fostering her relationship with her kids, something she had always stated was very important to her. Despite the difficulties in her personal life, DianaRoss continuously showed remarkable fortitude in conquering them. Diana maintained her profession and demonstrated her strength by overcoming health problems, emotional tragedy, and the demands of celebrity. Always able to get back up after falling. Diana reportedly claimed that every hardship she had faced had strengthened her and taught her important lessons. She has overcome hardship thanks to her tenacity and positivity, and she will continue to inspire future generations as a remarkable woman, mother, and music legend. Present-life DianaRoss is still a lively and active icon at the age of 80. She never stopped and is still committed to the arts after decades at the height of her music and film careers. After experiencing many personal ups and downs, Diana is currently spending her years with her family in peace and maintaining a minimal degree of involvement in music by working on projects she enjoys. DianaRoss still has a strong love for music despite being very old. DianaRoss was chosen as the first female artist to receive a nomination in 2021. After a long period without a new album, Diana returned with the song Thank You. Her first studio album in more than 10 years, it attracted a lot of attention from critics and fans right once. The CD served as a good and uplifting reminder of love and thankfulness in life in addition to being Diana's way of thanking everyone who has helped her over the years. Diana has persisted in performing live, such as during the Thank You tour in 2022, when she traveled around the United Kingdom and sang both new and vintage songs from her album to her admirers. DianaRoss is still the queen of the stage, as seen by her appearance at the 2022 Glastonbury Festival, where she commanded every stage she entered and enthralled millions of fans with her music. DianaRoss is still a lively, active icon at the age of 80. She never stopped and is still committed to the arts after decades at the height of her music and film careers. After experiencing many personal ups and downs, Diana is currently spending her years with her family in peace and maintaining a minimal degree of involvement in music by working on projects she enjoys. DianaRoss still has a strong love for music despite being very old. After many years without putting out a new album, Diana returned in 2021 with a song called Thank You. Her first studio album in more than 10 years, it attracted a lot of attention from critics and fans right once. The record was more than just Diana's way of thanking everyone who has helped her over the years, but also an encouraging and upbeat reminder of life's love and thankfulness. Additionally, Diana has persisted in performing live, such as during the Thank You Tour in 2022, when she traveled around the United Kingdom and sang both new and classic songs from her album to her admirers. DianaRoss is still the queen of the stage, as seen by her appearance at the 2022 Glastonbury Festival, where she commanded every stage she entered and enthralled millions of fans with her music. I appreciate you watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment with your thoughts so you don't miss any more great stuff. I'll see you in the upcoming video. Farewell.